everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a ho today. Mike is clearly protesting the 9-7 start by the Detroit Red Wings with his Utah Mammoth jersey. Mike, tell us about that. What's going on here? We're running a Red Wings podcast, and immediately people have to tune in and see your Mammoth jersey. What's going on?
It's a big Mammoth. Delicious. Yeah, I did not get a Centennial jersey, and a friend of the show, Dan D, not A, B, or C, Dan D. I said, I know you're a man who can make things happen. I want a Mammoth jersey on my desk Wednesday. And he said, unfortunately, it'll be on your desk Monday. Is that okay? And I said, I'll let it slide. So this is a gift. A friend of the show gave me this.
Nice. Thanks. Thanks, Dan, for ruining the show.
Dan D.
Show ruined.
I just couldn't muster up the enthusiasm to put money down on a Centennial. Yeah. Brad says, Utah Rant? On a Centennial jersey. So I'm going to wait till things kind of go on the upswing. And instead, I'm going to root for a team with a sick mascot.
Brian's aboard. What's going on, Brian? Brand news. Hoping we're calling up Lombardi soon enough.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. John Leonard was really popping down at GR. So, I don't know. We need some
I also
goals
noticed
for
that
it.
you have a cell phone screen over here. So I think I got to recalibrate where I'm sitting.
I don't know how that's going. I hid that on my screen, so you can go ahead and hide that. I'm hoping nobody's watching this thing in a 9:16. It said to fully optimize your video. You should do that, but we'll see what happens with the numbers. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about this. So you found a picture. Is that Sider smiling?
Yes.
Is he smiling, or is it like at the end of the movie Pearl when Maya Goth is just trying to hold it together, and so she's just showing her teeth for like the last 2.5 minutes of that movie?
You get it. I was trying to look like through the recent pictures for the Red Wings, and I saw this, and of course, you can see on the slide image here, Red Wings trying to figure out Jekyll and Hyde. I thought that would be more appropriate to kind of inch our way towards insanity here as we watch two different Red Wings teams. It seems like at chunks at a time. I don't want to say every other game it flips, because very clearly we are getting chunks of a good team, chunks of a shit team, and it's frustrating, Mike. But there's also a title to this episode, Mike, that if you just break this down, if you break this league down by wins per games played, we're a top 10 team. Got a nice solid spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So it's not like everything is going terribly here. We just need to figure out, how do we sneak in a couple more overtime losses? Because Mike, when we lose, we lose. We get our asses kicked. But there is a team there. When things are going right, they can control the play. They can suppress shots. They can put pucks in the back of the net. They can put enough pucks in the back of the net. But when they lose, Mike, this team just gets shellacked.
You know, like when Shohei Ohtani hits a home run and it's a no-doubter? Man, that's like when the Red Wings are like, hey, we're going to crap the bed tonight, and we're not going to lose 1-0 or 2. It's going to be a 5-1 bloodbath. It's going to be a no-doubter that we are not in this game. I'm looking forward to fewer of those, because my emotional well-being can't handle much more of this. This bipolar Red Wing team that looks like world beaters, and then they look like the past couple years.
Yeah, Brad throws out there, most smiling because Sherratt got dropped off that first pair. Just a nice call. And Brad throwing out there too, not just the skaters and defensemen, but the goalies also playing a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde. But of course, as we've seen in the past couple of shows, there's still some dark spots we got to lighten up on the goaltending side. As I mean, just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how this goaltending tandem was from a combined expected goals saved above expected. They were some of the worst in the league. Things have kind of turned around from that perspective, but I mean, they're still posting sub 900 save percentages, and that Chicago game, Mike, doesn't make me feel any better about Mr. John Gibson. But there seems to be quite a few things. So I thought we'd go over.
Yeah, Bertuzzi turning back the clock to being on the Larkin line was a little nauseating, especially when he ate a 4-minute penalty and we barely got any shots on net. It was pretty rough.
I mean, and it was supposed to be one of those things too. And I will push back a little bit because we did have good possession numbers. We did have a good like volume percentage.
I meant on the power play. The power play was awful.
Yeah. I'm just saying there was offense there, but it is shocking that we were expecting the power play to just turn back on with Kane returning. Maybe Raymond's getting a little bit stronger, and it still isn't coming around. But again.
Also, Ken, what up, dude? He said he'd like to see a kid line. Finney, Casper, Danielson. I think you're going to see a lot of lines like that, just based on some stuff from Todd McClellan recently. But you might be jumping ahead.
You might, yeah. I think that is what we're seeing after practice. There's also been Finney, Kane, and Comfer, I think. Is that right? That is, I don't know. That scares me. That doesn't sound fun. Mike, would like to rewind back to like January last year when Casper was really going off, when he was on the wing with Raymond and Larkin. I don't know why we're not going back to that, especially if Casper's getting pulled off center responsibilities and we have Danielson here. Let's see what we can do there. Like that seemed to turn Casper on last year. That was kind of how we came out of the Christmas break, was like McClellan's first move there was to move Casper into that position. So I'm going to cross my fingers for that one. But it's interesting. I am getting a little worried about Finney. Max Boltman put it as he's seeing a less confident player out there. I think he is like disappearing a little bit on the ice, and that's not good.
Oh, by the way, the comments coming in hot. Dan B, good to see you, bud, saying it's a process. Snooze. Oh, sorry, having a Blash back. Hey, Blash won on Sunday, lest we forget. It was a big game. And then Brian saying Icer Plant getting very old. Oh, that was 2 years ago. Brian, the Icer Plant's getting so old, it's going to be on the Red Wing blue line. Hi-oh! We like old guys on the blue line. Anyway.
Yeah, so I did want to kind of just throw out there. I sort of just had ChatGPT run the numbers, but I just started asking the question because I was looking at the Ottawa Senators on the standings, and it's disgusting with all of their overtime losses, like what they get to stand on to actually like own a playoff spot. And let me check in real quick here. So right now Ottawa is 8-9, right? But actually they're 8-5-4.
I'm so ready to push back on this slide, Matt. You have no idea, but go ahead. You could push back all you want. These are statistics. I don't know how this is like. I feel like I'm arguing on Twitter again. These are all statistics and facts. I know, but you can't have an overtime loss. So you're getting bombed 5-1. Like these aren't even competitive hockey games.
That's true.
It's hard for me to like nickel and dime points in the standings when we don't look like an NHL hockey team sometimes.
But that would be interpreting this as the argument that the Red Wings are having, like significant success this year. That would be your argument against that. I respect that 100%. And we're on the same page. This isn't that. So we're trying to figure out which team this is. Remember the title slide was like Jekyll and Hyde. It was like we can right now be one of the top winning teams in the league. But at the same time, we're not at the top of the standings because this league begs for parity. It begs for overtime losses. It begs for nickel and diming points, as you put it there, and not being able to do that because you just get absolutely spanked in some of these games is where I started to ask, like, what's going on? How far away are we? So to push back on the slide, I think what you mean is you just want to make sure that you're getting your point across, because these are all numbers. You want to get your point across that you don't care
I mean, if you
how
want to
many
say
wins we have. You
these
want
are
to
all
see
just,
consistently good, strong
yeah.
team.
I mean, when you say top 10 in wins, we're like 2 wins from being last place. It's not like, we're deep into the season. It's like, we're 1 to 2 lucky games from being like 14th in the division or the conference.
That's true, but that's where the question comes into play, where it's like, okay, this isn't we haven't completely shit the bed, right? Like that is kind of the mindset I feel like we should have right now. To be angry right now while we're 9-7 is a little nuts, but I think we could be rightly confused because we opened the NHL season by getting spanked. We've had quite a few games here that we probably should have won convincingly, and instead we have Bedard throwing him in the back of the net on the power play. What, 30 or right off the face-off, wasn't it? It was like 5 seconds in. Bedard's throwing in, the 1-0 lead. And I mean, it just is like, okay, so what is going on here? So we could say, like, you got to stop getting spanked, but there's so many things that actually are happening that are kind of what we've been asking for years too. So, I mean, I'll stop it there and we'll move on to the next slide. But it is worth mentioning that we're 3rd in the Atlantic, 5th in the East, top 10 in the NHL when it comes to win percentage, not points percentage, not anything like that. And I think that is still worth mentioning.
I think that this is a slide that Steve Yzerman has shown the Illiches, and they're like, I think things are going quite well. It's just hard for me to totally get on board, because I think I'd have an easier time if we were like losing these games, like 4-3, or that the other team scores with our goalie pulled, so we lose 5-3 instead of 4-3. But it's like,
yeah,
we're like 3 goals away from being like dead last in the conference in goals. This is a terrible offense. And I guess you could, say, well, what if our 36-year-old leader, Patrick Kane, was not injured for a couple weeks? It's just, there's no depth. So I don't mind trying to find a couple positives. I don't know. I don't know if they're juicy enough yet for me to sink my teeth into, but I can see where you're coming from, that you don't want to necessarily hit the panic button. It just, it doesn't feel like we're too much different from the past couple of years, other than we are getting what we asked for, right? Which was getting the kids on the roster. So we said if we were going to flounder in the standings, we'd rather see the kids struggle than watch the old people struggle. So I guess in that regard, we're kind of on the path that we wanted. It doesn't feel like this is a playoff season again, or a playoff team this year. But we got more to look at.
Dan B throws out there, the loser point system is designed to artificially generate the appearance of competitiveness. I like Decoy throws out there, goals are overrated. Come on, Mike. You want to see goals. That's not what we're looking for. We want shots. We want expected goals, Mike.
Yeah.
Brian, Kane is not on our power play, obviously. I'm confused by that one, Brian. Give me more info there. Brand New throws out there, at this rate, we're never going to get curly fries from Arby's. They have to score 3 or more goals in a game. This is complete BS. Ridiculous.
I guess I would be...
Oh, so, and Dan B can hear my kids screaming in the background.
I can see where Decoy's coming from, because it's like goals are a little bit like wins for a baseball pitcher, right? So that's more the end result, not the input that you're using, right?
Yeah.
It's just tough because I don't think we have the input either, Decoy. So it's not like we have a bunch of Scoobles, offensively, and they're just not scoring. I don't know. Maybe I just feel a little more underwhelmed by what we've looked like the past couple days.
I think bringing up the Detroit Tigers is a great comparison because I think you do have one Scooble.
What's a sexy photo of Todd, by the way? Just kind of peering around the glass, like, oh, I've got a secret over here.
What are you talking? No, he's drawing up plays on the glass. He's got a marker in his hand.
That's like sexy Todd. I like this one.
I don't know. He's even like mid word, and I think it starts with an F, so it looks like he's going like.
Oh, I know which F word it is.
So I wanted to call out too Todd McClellan. He's talking about mental lapses, and he's not necessarily calling out talent issues. They're talking about a young roster, volatility, and also potential seems to be a main talking point. But I'd push back on that, and I have statistics to back that up. Mike, I mean, to what you're saying is that I think we do have a good structure. And I think that Chicago game is actually proof that there is even belief in the structure, and it's about taking next steps to like finding ways to make these shots on net, these expected goals, maybe those numbers going up because you're putting higher quality shots on net. And you do that with more skill. You do that with more star power. And you and I came into this season saying, where is it going to come from? And we saw what this team looked like when Dylan Larkin was performing at an MVP caliber level. And now we see it looks like when Dylan Larkin is just performing at like, not MVP, like there's still points going in. He had a goal get, drop kicked into the net. That didn't hurt. But right now, Mike, the Red Wings have the 6th worst PDO in the league. We are way below average on shooting percentage and save percentage. Mike, the structure is there. The skill to have a higher shooting percentage, to create plays that'll go in the back of the net, and to have goaltenders that can consistently save the, shots above 900. Neither one of those are here. I believe that's the problem. Long and short of it, nothing's going to happen till Leo Carlson, Connor Bedard, Macklin Celebrini, they are on this roster because you see the Ducks. Holy, I've got Joe Stahl going tonight, so I'm a little worried on the fantasy team. Hopefully he's not starting tonight, but that could be the kiss of death at least. But you look around the league, it just feels like we're turning into that league that is, maybe more akin, I talked about the Tigers and I brought them up and I was like, hey, maybe we are the Tigers. You know why? Maybe there is a Scooble. And then there's a bunch of other guys. And when it's not working out, man, we just not look like a team that should be in the playoffs. I think, and it's not about resetting like the Tigers roster. You don't need 9 new bats. And for the Red Wings roster, you don't need a whole new roster of forwards, a whole new roster of defensemen. But there needs to be something added here that's going to add more balance. And Steve made these big points about, now our bottom 6 has bottom 6 guys in it. We forgot to put the top 6 guys in the top 6. And I love Emmett Finney. I think he had a great start to this season. But he's losing that roster spot. He's losing that spot on the lineup and on the depth chart because he's there to try to keep up with Raymond and Larkin, but he's not there to create offense, which is really even like, I don't know. If you want to look at like when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl get to play with Zach Hyman works in that role because he can keep up with them and he can score on his own. Not at a 40, 50 goal pace, which actually he probably has, without Connor and Draisaitl throwing the puck over to him. But those superstars, the Larkins and the Raymonds, still need another piece that is a little bit higher quality than I think what we're seeing out of out of Finster.
I
And
like that note you hit there, by the way. That was pretty nice.
thanks. And
Yeah.
I think this is evidence. This is the evidence. Sometimes we look at PDO and we think that maybe there's a regression to the mean, right? So, oh, the shooting percentage will kick up, the save percentage will kick up. There's also, and we've mentioned this the last few weeks, Mike, there's the other world where it's like, oh, actually the shooting percentage is that low and that's where you're going to stay for 82 games. I don't think that's the case. But very clearly, there's a gap that we're trying to cross. The volume's there. The possession is there. Is the talent there? That's
Probably the scariest question, right? Because there's not going to be an immediate way to fix that. We've seen all the big dogs for next year's free agency already getting, re-signed and staying with their teams. Yzerman does not seem gung-ho about making trades. We're going to play all our kids right now, even though none of them are coming out necessarily like gangbusters and just putting up a bunch of points. So, this might take a long while to kind of figure out. Even this season, maybe, we got to give it a little bit, a couple more weeks, a couple more months. But I did want to hit a few comments here, Matt.
Yeah, we got
Brian said, read it right. Kane is not our power play. So he's saying he's not the sole piece. Decoy saying JT Confer is Todd Jones. Ooh. My only pushback there is that I think Todd was kind of endearing. People liked his little belly and his Fu Manchu mustache. I don't know if Confer has any fans, to be honest. I don't think I've ever seen a Confer jersey at Little Caesars Arena, but correct me if I'm wrong. Brad seconding JT as the second line center makes me not enjoy watching. The enjoyment is one thing. There's a certain level of concern when he's your second line center because we know he's not scoring because he hasn't done it on our team. Did I have one more? Oh, Whiskey. Welcome aboard, sir. Saying, I wish Todd would have given Casper a few more games at the second line before moving him down. One game of that line being back together after the Kane injury is not enough time to allow the line to gel. JT ain't it.
That's a great point by Whiskey.
Yeah, I like Whiskey's point.
But it
does... from McClellan's mouth, I think that he's thought that he was getting Casper to go like on a line with less responsibility. So they're like putting him on the wing, they're dropping him down. So I think that he was just trying to give him a reset because I think the quote, he said something like he thought he was overthinking it. Young kids are just not playing hockey. They're thinking on the ice. And that's when they look like, they're lost and they're not making positive plays. So I think putting them into a role with fewer responsibilities and not feeling like, all right, you're the second line center with Patrick Kane, Hall of Famer, best goal scorer in U.S. history. Go make something happen, kid. So I think that's more along what he was trying to do. But Whiskey, I think Matt and I agree. Maybe like one more game.
I did want to say to this point though, Whiskey, where I do agree with you 100%. I think there is a silver lining here to be drawn as well with Todd, because he does want to solve this thing and thinking about each player individually. And I know there's like the team that we need to figure out, but he's not just, saying like, okay, now the second line's good. He's been watching Marco Kasper this whole time, and he's been mentioning a few times there's guys who had great seasons last year that need to step it up. I think very clearly it was Marco Kasper was one of the guys that he was talking about, and it's kind of been carrying along so far this season with the production of Kasper. And that's the silver lining for me, is that Todd isn't just going to write this off as like Kane's back, things will get solved. He wants to try and do some work to get Kasper in the right mindset. I push back though again and say I think that better spot would have been putting him with Larkin and Raymond. I don't necessarily like breaking up DeBrincat and Kane, but
Matt, I'm gonna piggyback that one. I like it a lot. But we do have a bid for comment of the episode. Compliments of Blake with the most Blake comment you could have Blaked, saying, contrary to what we just discussed, I like Comfort.
Thanks, Blake.
Blake, the Steve Yzerman burner account, my favorite. performance art announcing Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt-esque saying, "I'm here." Asking, how can you like Comfer? So Blake, please explain how you can like Comfer. We're all dying to hear your favorite Comfer game and highlights. Stay tuned, everybody.
Well, Comfer's helped lead us to this 42% actual goals for percentage. We could throw that in there. But yeah, so this is I'm gonna double down on the processes there. The finish isn't, and I just want to throw out some of these stats for y'all to chew on. If you have some friends that want to talk about Todd McClellan's process. Mike, we're 7th in Corsi, 6th in Fenwick. Of course, we're talking there about possession and throwing the puck at the net.
Yeah.
Our expected goals for Mike, I'm pretty happy.
Forgive me. Those two stats are 5-on-5 only, right? Corsi and Fenwick.
You can pull them however you like. I pulled them 5-on-5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I believe that we do have a good ranking for controlling the puck on the power play when we do the exact same play from behind the goalie where somebody skates to the red line and then does the drop back pass. And then that guy goes across. Then he skates across 2 blue lines. Then he dumps it back. And then, then the other team dumps it back to our end. Then we skate around our goalie and we go again and again. And then we do is, cross our own blue line, get to the red line, dump pass, and skate. Anyway. Can we have just a second play? Can we just have like a second way to get into the zone on the power play? That's all I'm asking. Anyway.
This is more just doubling down on what I was saying before, but that 42% actual goals for percentage, it would be wonderful, Mike, if our actual goals were more reflective of the expected goals we were bringing to the ice. Now, I will throw out there too, we do tick up a little bit once you add that power play to these numbers as well, but that's not fair. Of course, the power play is going to look better.
Right.
They're playing the right way, just can't finish the job.
A lot of edging for this team. Nobody's finishing.
I've been looking at some of the statistics, and the only one really from this whole screen, because some of this is we're just gonna nosedive into negativity here.
Before you get into it, Jared is already negative. He's been here for 2 seconds, and he said, "The hell? Why is this in portrait mode?" So
is it really? Oh God! Yeah. All right.
I think it's only showing the left side, which is a nightmare. Just so you guys can know that our screen is split. One is probably the nightmare Jared's describing. Matt and I can see things normally, but we can see both. So unfortunately, it looks like we got to make a quick pivot here. While you do that, Matt, I'm just going to pull up Whiskey's comment saying Casper was not only dealing with Kane being out, but had to try and produce points while DeBrincat was on an 0 goals for 50 shot start to the year. He was setting Cat up, but the points weren't coming. Whiskey basically saying Casper is Cade Cunningham, who had no assists his first year because he was passing the garbage. So I like it.
I'm going to be real sad when I try to make some videos on this later, and it's just 9:16. Where am I? Okay. Yeah. Gibson gave up 4 goals, Mike, against Chicago with a 1.86 expected goals against. Talbot, Gibson, both under 900 save percentage, negative goals saved above expected, 8th worst in the NHL. League average goaltending alone could turn 2 to 3 losses into overtime games. So we're going to throw that one in there. Like, for sure, we want to see some goal scoring against Chicago, but there's another element here too, especially with us working harder to possess the puck. I don't think anybody's ever looked at like the Carolina Hurricanes and said superstar goaltenders on that team, right? Like the goaltenders seem to benefit from that, where our guys, they're not. So we have that possession. It's just not working out for us, Mike. In the losses, Mike, we give up 1.12 goals above expected. So like an extra goal in every single loss. Now, take away that Vegas Golden Knights game, and that jumps up to 2 goals. So there was one night in a loss where our goalies kept us in it. You take away those, every other time we lose, this isn't 2 more goals than the Red Wings are getting. No, this is 2 goals on top of what the expected goals mark is. And think about how many goalies, Mike, in the league have a positive goals saved above expected number. That means they're ending every night and have stopped more shots than was supposed to go in. For Red Wings goalies, in our losses, we not only give up the expected number, we're not getting anything back, but we're 2 goals above it. 2 goals above it. Oh,
Huge.
shoot. I'm not even on that slide. Damn it.
Nope, we don't know what you're talking about. There we go. I thought you were just cooking off that old slide. That's okay.
No, it's fine. I mean, podcast listeners will hear what I'm saying. Guys on YouTube, you're already screwed because apparently you're looking at 9x16.
Also, I do want to throw in there, Whiskey said, I would never say cat's garbage. And I agree. And I think I just misspoke. I was just saying you'd have more points if the people were hitting shots. That's all I meant to say. Whiskey, you're off the hook. Hopefully I am too for that snafu. But go ahead.
Well, I'm going to make sure I control my slides on this thing going forward. Okay.
Beautiful.
Path forward, Mike. I think this is just about leaning into Kane getting his legs back, Raymond feeling a little bit better. Because again, I feel like the structure's there. The problem for me is that I'm just going to keep coming back to the goaltending is what's really scaring me. I think we do need more talent, and I've made that obvious before the season even started. I don't think anybody would look at this roster and say, all right, there's our core. We're ready to go. 20 years of playoffs. No. But there's an element here too. Like somebody posted in our YouTube videos from a week ago, and they made a comment about like John Gibson's a guy who's been on, one team his whole career. So he needs a couple months to figure out the new team. And I'm just like, wait. 2 months is like a quarter of the season. You traded for this guy. You went into it saying you're going to get bad goaltending for a quarter of the season. And he doesn't even play every night. So it's not like we're really talking about like, oh, good. All right. Now we have 60 games of John Gibson going forward. If we're making moves for guys that we're already making excuses for, and we're coming like this to me is starting to feel like that excuse feels like an Andrew Kopp, like, oh, he had core surgery, so you got to give him a few years to catch back up. I'm not here for the Gibson needs to learn the team. Like there are so many goaltenders that are with a brand new team that, don't turn in stinkers like we just saw against Chicago. And I think it's a couple of things, but I can't be too mad while we have a positive expected goals for percentage and we have possession of the puck. I just got to figure that the shooting percentage is going to come around. I got to figure the power play is going to come back around.
Real quick. Is there any way, I don't know if you can see this right now. Do you have 2 screens like of us? One is smaller, one is large.
Yeah.
That you have like split screens, like one's like a cell phone, one's okay.
What's up?
Just make sure that's by design. But
you should be able to turn that off on your screen at least, but
okay. Sorry, a comment really got me by Whiskey. Whiskey just saying, I will say in fact that cider's garbage with a caveat on the power play. Give me the Pelican on the top unit. Whiskey, I'm not pushing back on that at all. I don't know. I mean, I think we put Cider in that position just because he's our best defender. I don't know if he's really got any offensive ability. I mean, he's got some, right? More than Sherratt, but I don't know if he's ever going to be an offensive defenseman. That's okay. I think it would be nice to get to a point where it's maybe Edmondson because I feel like he's got a little more potential there.
Blake says his chats aren't showing up, but I do see Blake. You are you're on your cell phone. It says so. Maybe you're looking at the 9x16. Maybe that's why. You have not been blocked, Blake. I know you have that concern all the time. I don't even know how to block you, to be completely honest. So when I figure it out, you're out of here. But until then, I'm just kidding.
Jared's thrown in there. Ducks had roster turnover nearly every year that Gibson was there. Dumb take.
I like it. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So key takeaways for this one before we jump into boy, oh boy, rough game tonight against the Ducks. With that win percentage, I threw in there. We're third in the Atlantic, fifth in the East, top 10 in the NHL. I still think that's worth mentioning because there are things we can hang our hat on so far this season, even with the crap games. Look, they're young. And I do again think it's worth noting that it's either all or nothing. You're either in these games or you're just getting shellacked.
As far as defending the system, do you think that this is a more long-term ethical way to play hockey? Because I don't know if the argument can be made that if you're going to be playing for points in the standings, that at certain points of the game, you're just going to just try to limit scoring opportunities for the other team and just try to hunker down and just, make it a 1-goal game instead of. We do play, like you said, we're kind of a puck possession team. Like we do try to, we try to make the cute play, I think.
Yeah.
So do you think that stylistically that's something that we would pursue just to, kind of play the game that's being asked by officiating to try to, limit opportunities a little bit more for both teams?
I don't want to do that, and I would come back to.
I don't want to do that, but I don't know if we have to do that based on our talent level.
No, and you know what? I was going to give you the perfect answer. I was going to say you'd have to think about what your goals are for this season. Was it Stanley Cup? Nah. Let's figure this stuff out. Let's get some crappy games in there. I would still say you're going to have bad games like we got from John Gibson, and you need to be able to score and you need to be able to create. And I think Larkin threw it out there after that Chicago game. It's like, yeah, we got pucks on net, but we have to do a better job of getting closer to the net. They have to do a better job of putting high danger chances on net. And I mean, once they get the hang of that, they're golden. But I think we still need to figure out with 82 games here and let us figure it out with this roster of are we getting enough out of the people that we have signed right now? Are we going to get enough from Nate Danielson, Casper, Larkin, Raymond, DeBrincat? Are we going to bring back Kane again? Are we going to figure that out? Are we going to see that there are gaps here that need to be filled with other NHL players? And I don't think you figure that out by trying to limit chances on both sides and eke out a playoff run. I think it's about letting this go a little bit.
I'm going to hit a few comments, but Jared is, again, trying to throw an assist our way. He thinks that we have 2 live streams running at the same time.
It's whatever's going on. It's completely screwed. It's fine. I can't fix it right now. It's not a big deal.
Just throwing it out there. Then we had a few predictions for tonight that we're getting bombed. A Mrazek shutout. Whiskey throwing in a little flare of hope. Ducks do take 1 million penalties a game. If the PP gets rolling tonight, we will win. Blake suggesting he's going to sit us down and explain hockey to us. I can't wait. We're all going to have matching comfort jerseys on. It's going to be a big night. And then brand new. What's up, bud? Coming in late. Say Danielson's going to score his first goal tonight. So
no, Brand. He was here. We were talking to Brand New earlier. Yep. There was an interesting part from Ansar Khan's coverage of practices this week. I think they let Nate actually run drills in practice, and then there's another element to that too, where the drills that they ran, we talked about earlier in the season, were something that Ansar Khan had never seen before. They did another one where it was puck battles and man-to-man play. And it looked pretty wild. Ansar Khan took a picture of it. They would start like back to back and then try and win the puck. I'm not sure if the puck was starting underneath them, but it looked pretty cool. But it is one of those things. It says to me, it's not like we're doing like, and this would be absolutely ridiculous. It's not like we're doing like deke practicing or like, sniping. Those are the things that Steve's always called out. Like, you're not practicing that. You're not trading for that. You are that or you're not. So there is still a huge push to own the puck and get pucks on net, win puck battles. And you got to believe too that transitions are extremely important, especially with some of the strides we've seen this year compared to last. It hasn't been consistent this year, but that's where I think if they can get that part figured out and just make that a muscle, as opposed to anything else, and just hoping like you'll get some odd man rushes and some breaks. I think we know this roster's not done. We know there aren't enough forwards on here. We still need defensemen to be added here. And maybe you get that from more guys developing, but maybe it's just like for this season, we know the roster's not done. And until we see like a huge trade to bolster this top six with another major talent right now, unfortunately, we're not going to have games where there's 7 guys out of the lineup and they destroy the Chicago Bulls like the Pistons just did last night. So the roster's not there. Yeah, the roster's not there. I would argue maybe a little bit easier to build a roster in the NBA than it is in the NHL. I think the NHL actually has the toughest roster to build, where for football, there's so many guys that you can kind of get lost sometimes in the sauce. Like some guys' deficiency can be fixed by another. Like there's so many people on the field that even your biggest weakness can be hidden. It's just like working in the corporate environment. For basketball, you've got to fill out, still like there had to be enough on that roster for Cade to be out and the Pistons still to win. But it's only like another 7 guys. Like that's it. And then you're good.
I will say the Red Wings definitely make it feel like it's incredibly difficult to build a roster. I don't remember. It's been so long since we had one that was competent that I felt like we had a good chance to win. And when I leave the arena, I have a happy feeling in my heart, like I did yesterday, leaving that Piston game. Matt, I'm gonna be honest. This
you haven't been this whole time?
No. I'm gonna be honest here, Matt. Today's takeaways are I don't want to say stunning. I'll say surprising. I'm really just maybe I'm just too emotional as a fan because these past couple of games have been excruciating to watch, especially the one we watched in person. And I think if a couple of the slides, I teased you about the first one. What was it? The win percentage stat that you had up there. And then if we just had average goaltending, which I think speaks again right to Steve Yzerman, because he'd love another reason to go goalie hunting and spend the off season and the regular season doing that to just try to find average goaltending again.
That's another thing I could go 20 minutes on. Can we stop
What's that?
With the turnover on goaltending every flipping off season?
Well, if you don't want to buckle in for Gibson and Talbot's not getting any younger, get ready for some more goaltending turnover, Matt. It's in your future. Your immediate future this offseason, we're going to be doing it again.
I know.
Maybe Augustine or Kosa, becomes an NHL goalie. Doesn't feel like that's on the, right around the corner. Those timelines for both those guys are still so, what's the word? The opposite of transparent. Is it opaque? Is it opaque? I have no idea
So.
when those two guys are coming up.
Which one's
It could-
translucent?
It could be 3 years from now. It could be 5. I don't know.
I mean, Kosa is probably next season. I'm gonna say that pretty confidently.
Just
But
based on his age
hurt.
or his skill.
Honestly, his age, because
Based on the shit or get off the pot, or that he's ready.
Do you remember there was an article that came out last season that said Kosa at his draft position should have already been in the NHL. Like every other goalie drafted in the first round. And this was last year. So he's already a year past when he should have started.
Wonderful.
Basically, the article was saying shouldn't have been a first round pick if you were going to take this long to develop him. But
a rare miss from the first round for Steve, I guess. But we
not necessarily. He was doing good in Grand Rapids. They had that win streak going. He just got hurt. So
okay. Dana. Sure, Matt. Well, let's see him at the NHL level. I really don't care about Grand Rapids stats. Dana saying, just wait. One of these years, the roster construction strategy of signing guys other teams' fan bases are happy to be rid of will pay dividends. We just haven't heard from Dana, so I wanted to throw their comment in there.
Got to roll the dice. One of these times, they're going to hit.
Ooh, Brad with an important question. Is Kosa's ELC up this season?
Puckpedia.
While you're doing that, Whiskey was just asking, or just commenting, Augustine is the best goalie outside of the NHL right now. Spartans are unreal so far in the early NCAA season.
Yeah, didn't they just kick the crap out of Gavin McKenna? I think that was the last college hockey article I read. Kosa, ELC up at the end of this season.
Woo!
Time to get paid. Wait, I should know that. I just signed him in NHL 26. I just signed him to a 3-year deal. Gave him $2 million a year without having played a single NHL game. Like $2 million a year. Otherwise, he's going to walk.
You play that game like 4 hours a night every night. And we got brand new saying that, is it Postava? The other kid?
Postava?
Calling him a hot
He's also hurt.
Yeah.
He's also hurt too. So that was great. We had an opportunity. We had two guys that were starting great in Grand Rapids and could have gotten that call up, and now they're both hurt. I don't know what those injuries look like. They could be back already, but all right. I think
we got about 11 minutes till the Red Wings actually kick off here. Matt, what are you predicting for this Anaheim game?
I actually do think they're going to win. I don't. Let me confirm that by looking up if my goalie on my fantasy team, Dostal, is actually starting for the Ducks. If he is, I guarantee a win.
It's Mrazek.
Oh, really?
That's why I picked up Mrazek today.
Says okay. My app says Dostal is the starter.
Oh no! What a nightmare for me. Now I got to drop Mrazek. I picked him up for nothing.
I guarantee 6-7 goals tonight for Detroit. A couple of power play goals. We got this.
Your team's doing all right, aren't they?
Soda Bloom and Onions. Drop Peter Mrazek. I mean, I'm up this week, but I'm 2 and
Sunday, 3. I had to drop John Gibson.
Yeah, I like that. Dan B is my opponent this week. He's letting me know I'm going to lose. I'm up by 6 right now, and you've got an injured Quinn Hughes, buddy. Matt Schaefer's coming down. I don't know. I think I got this. Zach Hyman on IR. Yeah, you're going down, man. It's gonna be easy peasy.
Oh no.
I went from not drafting any goalies, not drafting a single goalie in our draft.
Yeah.
To having the number 2 and number 5 goalies on my roster.
Huge.
So see if the strategy made me lose. I started like 0-2, I think. So, but now they're turning around. All right.
Give me, Matt, 6-1 Ducks tonight. No, you know what? We get off the tonight. 6-2 Ducks.
Oh, okay. So we're putting a second goal. Are we gonna
Yeah.
start 2-0 and pat ourselves on the back and give up 6 straight to Carlson?
I think
Just
it's gonna.
six goals for Leo tonight.
I think Ducks come out, make it 3-0 in the first 3 minutes. Red Wings score 1. Larkin does one of his specials where he's on his belly and or knees. The Ducks pepper in 3 more out of anger, and then we get 1 more with 4 minutes to go.
Is Pat Verbeek at this point allowed to noogie Steve Yzerman when he sees him?
I think so. He's like,
Yeah,
hey, Junior,
right.
look at those standings, bud. Hey, you remember when you had a hot start? This is a real hot start.
I mean, this is the guy that traded away Trevor Zegras in the offseason, right? And he's just like, no, I got a championship roster right here, man.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Dana thrown out there. We're starting with a penalty 2 minutes in. Beautiful.
Dan B, why was Logan Thompson waived? Was this a Black Sox thing? I have no idea. I claimed him on waivers. I have no idea why he was available. We'll see how that goes. He's like a 930 save percentage right now. It's like, yeah, I'll take him.
Jared calls out 3-1 Ducks. Blake throws out 5-3 Wings. Blake, does that include a Comfer hat trick?
Is it Comfer or Sherratt that's getting the hat trick tonight, Blake?
Yeah. I like the idea of them setting each other up. Maybe, how about you bump it up to 6-3 and they go double hat tricks, Sherratt and Comfer. Like that.
What do we got? We got the Sabres up on Saturday. Hey, I had the schedule up. God, I hate Google. All right. Ducks tonight, Sabres Saturday, Rangers Sunday.
3 winnable games. But, got to do our part. So
we're going to have 4 games between this episode and next Tuesday, and we could very well go on a 4-game win streak, Mike. And our next episode is going to be going into the next game would be against the Islanders, then against the Blue Jackets. So we'd be going into the next week on a 4-game winning streak with 2 crappy teams coming up, potentially 6 games. I know I shouldn't count the Ducks as winnable because they have such a great start, but I do. There's some smoke and mirrors here. So yeah, I would look at, we have 4 winnable games coming up, 6 winnable games coming up. That's very possible, Mike. The next episode is going to be flipped on its head.
Brad throws out there, if JT gets a hattie, I'll buy the first Comfort Red Wings jersey ever sold.
No problem finding that one in the pro shop, Brad. You'll find it. I couldn't get a Jalen Duren. Damn it. Told Mike.
They're getting sold out. I was going to get my Cade jersey last night. They were already gone. All I could get was triple XLs.
God damn. All right. Well, maybe for Christmas. All right.
Actually,
guys.
Double check on Black Friday. That's when I got my Pistons Bone jersey. It was half off.
I think I might just go classic Pistons jersey and just forget the special city edition. It's not that great. It
pretty
could be
great.
better.
It's pretty great.
It's not that great.
It's pretty sick. Everybody loves it. It's tremendous.
They're surrounded by Centennial jerseys, Mike.
With the Etch-a-Sketch Red Wing logo.
You love it. Shut up. Don't give me that.
No, I hate it. Don't
fake that. Don't fake it. Boo. All right. See you guys. Enjoy this absolute destruction of Lucas Dostal, who will now be the 30th ranked goalie in fantasy hockey after tonight. All right. See you guys.
It's going to be double goalie tonight. Let's go.
Maybe you'll see Mrazek.